Well, new response from the Pentagon in the aftermath of the Washington Navy Yard shootings. They've ordered a comprehensive review of the physical security of all U.S. defense facilities worldwide. But just as important as guns and gates is the unseen intelligence. And there are concerns that the security screening system is not up to the task. KT McFarland is a Fox News national security analyst. Hi, KT.
Hi.
So it seems somewhat apparent that this guy was suffering from some sort of mental illness.
Right.
Just last month, he called the Newport, Rhode Island police and said that he was hearing voices through the ceiling and walls of his motel. Is there anything that they could have done to take away his security clearance at that point?
See, the thing about all of this that just it's not just this case. I mean, this is a horrible case, and the tragedy we all feel for the families who have died and have been injured. But I look at the whole picture of what's happened since September 11th, and we vastly increased the size and the scope of the intelligence community after September 11th, and that was the right thing to do. But it's gotten so big now that that everything's falling through the cracks. It's not just this guy and the mental instability issues and the fact that he fired a gun at the ceiling. There's so many other cases where we had the intelligence, but it fell through the cracks because I think we had too much intelligence. So if you go back and look at the underwear bomber. His father had come forward to say, watch my son, I think there's going to be a problem, but they spelled the name wrong.
But that's not too much intelligence. I mean, that's just human error.
It's human error, but do you have that much human error? We're not having anybody check the stuff because there's just so much stuff. So there was a human error on that. It was the Boston bomber. The Russians came to us and said, watch out for these guys. Well, we did for a while, but there were so many people on the no-fly list, they fell off the bottom. And then if you look at Corporal Manning, if you look at the Fort Hood shooter, Major Hassan, you look at Snowden, the leaker from NSA, and now you look at this case, it's all issues that we should have seen coming. And why? I think it's because we have so many people with security clearances, we can't possibly vet them all.
I was fascinated to read about your experience. You got your first security clearance in 1970, and
right.
You described the process that they went through to vet you,
right.
to give you the security clearance. Tell us about that.
Now, I had high security clearances. They were top secret and above. But here's the procedure. They went to my hometown. They talked to my neighbors. They talked to my school teachers. They talked to my college professors. They talked to my friends. They looked to see if I had any risk issues. Was I a big risk taker? Did I have a drinking problem? Did I have a drug problem? Did I associate with people who might have been a big risk? They looked at my driving records. They looked at my bank statements.
So can we assume that they're still doing that with people who have security clearance like this shooter?
Well, were they? I mean, did they ask the neighbors? He shot a gun at the ceiling of the neighbor. He yelled at other neighbors. He went, to doctors, to the VA hospital, say I've got mental health issues. These things all should have come up, and they should have come up time and time again, not just with him, but with Major Hassan, with all these others. I just think that in addition to looking at the guns and the gates, that we ought to take a bigger look to say, if we have 4 million people with security clearances, who's doing the vetting? We're no longer doing it like in my day when the FBI vetted people. Now contractors are doing it. We have 500,000 contractors with top secret security clearances. The card that Alexis used to get on the base, it's called the CAC, Common Access Card. There are several million of those around the world. I just think that when we've gotten so big, we're not sure what we're doing, and of course stuff is going to fall through the cracks.
You just mentioned how he went to the VA. He went to the Department of VA
right.
because he was having insomnia. There was a report that he had stayed up for 3 days in a row. But there are privacy laws. There are privacy issues
yes.
when you go to seek some sort of psychiatric counseling. Should they have been able to alert someone?
Privacy issues, yes. If you and I are going to go out and we go see a doctor, that's a privacy issue. But if you're somebody who the United States government is entrusting with secret information, with weapons training, with computer systems that affect the entire defense of the United States, then I think that those issues, the privacy that you may have, I think you give up when you go. Look, in the good old days, if you've gone to see a psychiatrist, that was noted on your medical records. Now I'm not sure it is. And certainly when we have seen time and time and time again, we keep telling ourselves, oh, this was an exception. This was the perfect storm. This never should have fallen through the cracks. But how many times do we have to see that before we wonder, where are the cracks a little too big?
On a personal note, your daughter, your lovely daughter, Lieutenant Fiona McFarland, who I've had the pleasure to meet, is in the Navy. Are you confident that we have the adequate security on our military bases around the country?
I think we need to take a look at that. We've just had too many instances where there's something that's gone wrong. I mean, I'd like to know if this man could access the Navy Yard, which is, it's really the heart of the Navy. That's the ceremonial center. It's the oldest built. It's the administrative headquarters of the United States Navy. There's something that's a big question. And how did he get through the first gate? And how was he able to get through the second gate, the second access to the building? And how was he able to carry weapons on? We need to relook at that. And I think we particularly need to look again, because a lot of security at bases used to be in the hands of the Marines or military. Now it's contracted out.
We need to look at a lot of stuff in light of this tragedy. KT, great to talk to you.
Thank you.
Thank you.